Thrilled to be joined here on the show by Doug Lesmerises of the Kings of the North podcast. So that means we are talking Northern football, of
Northern
course.
ball.
And what better way to do that than the Michigan Wolverines, who I contend, Doug, because of a favorable schedule, I'm picking them to go 9-3. But I wanted instinctually to pick them to go 8-4. Because I think they're 1 year away. I know people talk a lot about Michigan as, they're physical, they run the football. Sharon Moore's a great in-game coach. I agree with all of those things. But what goes overlooked of those Big Ten championship, national championship season, the seasons they had, J.J. McCarthy was 65%, 72% completion, and he had a touchdown-to-interception ratio in the low 20s, and he had 4 to 5 picks a year. That was high-level quarterback play, and I hope Bryce Underwood starts, because then in 2026, I think Michigan could be seen as the Big Ten favorite, or certainly one of them. So I think Michigan is a good team, because they were a respectable but not great team last year. I see them this year as they're going to feel like they're 1 year away, and I'm excited about Bryce Underwood.
They really have such a foundational defensive identity now that to lose Mason Graham and to lose Kenneth Grant and to lose Josiah Stewart on that defensive line and still have so much back, to still have Derek Moore, to still have Rayshon Benny and a bunch of other guys. They do a great job. I think Ohio State did a good job last year, preparing for a long season and getting through the entire playoff. But Michigan in 2023, before we were at the 12-team playoff, just did a great job rotating guys. They really will go 16, 17, 18 deep on defense, and it helps them during the year, but also helps them with the next level, that they're always ready, even after they lose a bunch of guys. So, defensive identity that is kind of locked in, even when you lose great players, and even when they lost their defensive coordinator to bring in Wink Martindale last year, who was steeped in that system, and I thought real questions about it, and then it worked out pretty well. And the thing that I wondered about Michigan last year, and I think this has happened with a couple teams in the North, is was there a good team hiding there behind inadequate quarterback play? And then by the end of the year, when they beat Ohio State and Alabama, I think you saw that. So I think about it with a team like Iowa. I think about it certainly to a lesser degree with a team like Northwestern, but I think about it with Michigan. Bryce Underwood doesn't have to be a superstar this year. What if he's okay? Because last year their quarterback play didn't even give him a chance most weeks. What if he's fine with flashes and they have that defensive identity and they're always good on the offensive line? I'm curious, and we're going to find out in September because they go to Oklahoma and Nebraska in the first 4 weeks of the season. So we'll know. So I'm a little in between. I think when I did mine, I do think I had Michigan 9-3, 6-3 in a big mishmash, because I think the middle of the Big Ten is
You think
really
they
good.
go on the road, beat Oklahoma week 2 with Bryce Underwood potentially start? That's one I have written in as a loss, because the Sooners are at home. I think there is a huge amount of pressure on Brent Venables to win that football game.
Is it rise to the occasion pressure, or is it crumble beginning of the end pressure?
I think it's rise to the occasion because they've got the more experienced quarterback and they're at home. I mean, Bryce Underwood will have one game under his belt, and it will be it will be against New Mexico at home. It's a soft opener, and we're not getting into the scheduling debate here in this segment.
really good Michigan defense. With real Rod Moore back healthy at safety, I think real as good I think of a linebacker core as you'll find. I'm very curious, and I know people are excited about John Mateer and Ben Arbuckle, but that's can Michigan go down there and win and that game means a lot to Sharon Moore, obviously his ties to Oklahoma, and that he didn't want to be suspended for that game. Will they go down there and win a grinded out game? There's a lot of talk about John Mateer and Ben Arbuckle, but they're going to save. They're there to save a program and save a coach, and that is a lot to put on guys who were at Washington State last year. So I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but I don't think Bryce Underwood has to go win that game for Michigan. I think Michigan's core, Michigan's defensive identity, and then a couple flashes of Bryce Underwood might be enough. And we just don't know how much Mikey Keene might play there, the guy they brought in from Fresno State. He was hurt in the spring. You don't know how the quarterback battle is going to go in August. It seems like the assumption that Underwood's going to play this year, that seems like the right assumption for sure. Will he be the every snap guy in week 2? I don't know. I don't know for sure, but could Michigan go there and win 19-16? I think they could.
I think that honestly, would be higher scoring than Michigan would want it to be in that game.
Yeah.
I think they would
11-8.
I think they would love for that to be 11-8. Yeah. I like that one. A touchdown, a 2-point conversion with a 2-point conversion, and then 3 field goals and a safety. I think Michigan would take that sort of game. The interesting thing with Michigan is, I'm sure to plenty of Michigan fans out there, I sound like I'm hating on the Wolverines again by picking them to go under their win total of 9.5 in the Big Ten and saying they can't win this game and whatnot. But remember, 9-3 is a step forward. 8-4 is a step forward from where they were at last year. And I'm with you on, average quarterback play can get you there. But when are you going to get that average quarterback play? If it does wind up being Bryce Underwood, I think that's kind of the expectation because Keene is not, expected to be fully healthy. Do you get the best of freshman Bryce Underwood? Certainly you're not going to get the best of his career in his true freshman season. I don't think you're getting that in week 2. But just, look at his 2025 season at a glance. Are you going to get the best of him on the road against a defense that has, I think, really come into form under Brent Venables? Remember, they were bad his first year there. They have kept getting better and better, and he has instilled that defensive identity there. That crowd is going to be on top of you.
Yeah.
I think that is asking a lot. Like, even though he doesn't have to do a ton, I agree. I don't think that Michigan is going to be able to do to Oklahoma what they did to Penn State a couple years ago, where they ran it, 27?
Not throw the ball in the second half.
Not throw it in the second. Okay, I don't think you can do that. He's going to have to make a couple of throws, and I think that that's a really difficult spot to be in. This would be a great time to have Colston Loveland on your roster. Alas, they don't.
Right.
And
they like Martin Klein, but yeah.
Yeah, but is he Colston Loveland?
No.
Probably not. So I think that Michigan is a good team, a forward-moving program, and I'm going to be ridiculously bullish on them in 2026. I just think they are 1 year away from getting back to that Big Ten championship game expectation.
They might play a freshman at left tackle, right? 5-star freshman Andrew Babalow might win that job, like that, which is all going to your point of, are they a year away? Like talented running backs, but like young guys, right? Are they?
I do love the Haynes of it. I love the Justice Haynes edition. I think
Justice
it's a great
Haynes,
fit.
Jordan Marshall combo. Like I like when you can see the roster building. Like when everyone's getting transfers, but are you getting transfers strategically, or are you getting transfers from desperation? It's like, hey, let's bring in a veteran guy to add to our good young running back to have like a two-headed monster in the backfield, like that kind of stuff. You really like. It's hard to evaluate them because last year was so weird, right? And it's a little bit, I think, are we all still waiting a tiny bit about exactly how all this stuff's going to shake out with the NCAA and like that's its own separate thing, but as everyone's still waiting, I think a decision, which everyone assumes will come before the season, a decision will be good for Michigan, just so like that's not hanging over them anymore. But it is, considering this team won the national championship 2 years ago, it is hard to get your head wrapped around them in some ways, because the thing that I think matters to me a lot is that last year, losing Jim Harbaugh, losing all the talent they did, and all the controversy, it absolutely could have gone south.
Yep.
And right when it felt like maybe it was, they beat Ohio State and beat Alabama in the bowl game. And that showed me something about Sharon Moore and that staff. It showed me something about the talent that maybe is there that you weren't aware of. And again, they did lose a lot of talent. They like first-round dudes, like real dudes. Loveland, Graham, all those guys. I just think Michigan might be pretty good. And the quarterback play was non-functional. Like, it was non-functional. And so, yes, Bryce Underwood has a lot to learn, but dude, like, that guy's going to do 3 to 5 things a game that their quarterbacks didn't do at all last year. And he's not going to be perfect.
No.
But they've never relied, like J.J. McCarthy was a first-round quarterback, but they didn't ask J.J. McCarthy to carry them. J.J. McCarthy made a throw on third down, did that kind of stuff. They're not a program that's built around their quarterback carrying them. And I do think there's a depth of talent there. I think they've continued to shape that roster in the right way. But we'll find out. Week 2, week 4, we're going to find out. It's not like the hard thing about Michigan in 2023 was like their schedule was so easy. that you got to November and you weren't sure how good they really were. It was like, no, they won the national championship. They were 15-0. They were really good. But we wondered. We're not going to wonder this year. We'll know by the end of September.
Yeah, the Oklahoma game, one of the best non-conference games in all of college football. The Nebraska game, I think, is going to tell us a lot because Sharon Moore won't be there for that game. If I'm Matt Rule, bulletin board material right there is like, he picked a game that he wasn't going to be here for, and he picked you and Central Michigan. I would put it on the locker room. I would put it on guys' dorms. I would put it everywhere that you possibly
And Nebraska's
could.
going to be good, I think.
I agree. I have Nebraska going 9-3 this year. I think Nebraska is a
I have like
is a good
everybody in the
football
Big
team.
Ten going 9-3.
You know what? I think it could be a really fun conference, and then the Big Ten will feel like the SEC. Hey, our 9-3 team should get into the playoff, and we can revisit all.
Just a reminder to everybody around college football: keep that energy. That energy you had last year for the 9-3 SEC teams. Keep it for the 9-3 Big Ten teams.
Yeah, I'm sure that's exactly how it will go down. Doug of Kings of the North joining me here to wrap today's show. Appreciate everyone listening. I'll see you next time, and until then, hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.